This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news, the Grand Bahama Christian Council stating its position regarding the upcoming referendum. Bahamians are set to go to the polls on June 7th to vote on 4 gender equality bills. Now, despite the ongoing educational campaign, members of the Christian community say that they are still unclear about some of the bills. Megan Shepard reports.
Executive members of the Grand Bahama Christian Council coming together to express sadness regarding the perceived confusion surrounding the June 7th referendum on 4 gender equality bills proposed by the government. President of the council, Reverend Peter Pinder, says they have little to no difficulties regarding bills 1 and 3. However, he says there is skepticism regarding bills number 2 and great opposition to bill number 4.
In the Marriage Act, presently it says that marriage is between a man and a woman. Why can't we put that in the Constitution? The concern centers around the reluctance or the seeming reluctance to enshrine that in the Constitution. I also believe, though, that international pressure is probably coming to bear here.
Executive member Pastor Cedric Beckel says that he believes that the government is doing a poor job when it comes to answering questions and concerns geared toward the clarification of the bills.
Not saying that there is underhandedness, but the reluctancy to clear up questions that the citizenship has with understanding to the level of the citizenship's ability to comprehend. Secondly, a part of the confusion, I think, has come about also with what appears to be a minor demonizing of people who are credible, who have other views.
Executive members say it is time for this country to return to its foundation, which is found in the Bible. They say heading into the polls, citizens must keep in prayer and ask for discernment.
It's important for us to seek to discern and decipher which voices are the correct one. And as our president alluded to, pray that God would give us the discernment that we can articulate clearly to our people, those we pastor, so that they can be in a position to make the right decision.
Genesis 2:24, therefore shall a man leave father and mother and shall cleave to his wife. We have the 10 Commandments. We have the Beatitudes. We have the written word of God. And that should be our daily guide. So we could pray, but let us make sure, let people know that it's righteousness that exalts a nation. But sin will break a nation down.
The council is urging citizens to educate themselves on the bills and let their voices be heard come June 7th. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, meantime, the Say Yes Committee taking its campaign to another level on Grand Bahama as the Constitutional Committee continue its educational campaign on the gender equality bills. Say Yes Committee members are announcing plans for a march and a rally on Saturday, May 21st, beginning at 9 a.m. Co-chairperson Geneva Rutherford.
Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, south along the mall to Adventurers Way, turning west on Adventurers Way to the parking lot at the Harold de Gregory Building, and on to the front lawn where we will hold a mini Vote Yes rally. We will march in support of amending our Constitution to show fairness to both Bahamian men and Bahamian women.
Co-chair Constance McDonald says the rally following the march will be exciting, while Say Yes volunteer Sarah Kirkby is encouraging Bahamians to join in the march in support of the 4 constitutional referendum bills.
We're going to hear from Canon Harry Bain. We're going to hear from the Honorable Maurice Moore. We're going to hear from Tamar Morse, who's an attorney at law, and a lot of other young persons who are going to come out, and they're going to tell you why they are voting yes.
For me, the main part of the walk is to let other women and men know who else is voting yes. Sometimes people in our country get a little bit intimidated by those with louder voices or very strong opinions, and sometimes it's nice for them to see that there are others who are voting the same way they are, and so they can feel a bit confident about it and understand it.
Now, the constitutional referendum will be held on June 7th. In other news, a 19-year-old male is in serious condition at the Brand Memorial Hospital after he was involved in a traffic accident on Queens Highway around 11 o'clock this morning. Reports are that the young man was driving a two-door gray 2004 Chevy Malibu when he crashed into a wooden utility pole on Queens Highway. He was ejected from the vehicle and later taken to the Brand Memorial Hospital by EMS personnel. Now, unconfirmed reports say the young man suffered head injuries. Police are admonishing the motoring public to drive within the speed limit and to wear seatbelts. Electricity supply to East End interrupted for several hours today. The power supply was shut off this morning to allow work crews from the Grand Bahama Power Company to change two utility poles that hung low across the streets in Freetown after they were weakened at the root by persistent bushfires. Now, the leaning poles and low electrical wires creating quite a scare for some motorists in the area. The work crew told ZNS News that the power company had disconnected electricity to the entire East End Grand Bahama community as they worked to remove the damaged poles and replace them with new ones. Power was restored to the East End community around 4:30 this afternoon. And after years in the trenches, a key industry on the island may be on the rebound. Cleopatra Murphy spoke with several real estate agents on the current state of the sector and tells us why now is the prime time to buy.
After a 5 to 7 year slump for Grand Bahama's real estate sector, real estate agents say it appears the industry is headed for a revival. Estate agent for H.G. Christie, Catherine McClay, says she has been feeling a lot more confident over the last month as more locals are looking into purchasing homes or properties, despite having difficulties with banks that are reluctant to lend. She says the market is presently flooded with properties.
Bank repos with a big inventory are now looking to the real estate companies to assist them in selling, because I think it's just overwhelming for the people in the bank to try and sell the inventory they have. But they're priced well, so we're definitely seeing an increase in the inventory.
President of the Grand Bahama chapter of the Bahamas Real Estate Association, Donna Lang Jones, says after a noticeable slump, a lot of people are now looking into purchasing land. Jones, who is also a partner and broker for Keys Bahamas Realty, is encouraging Bahamians to invest in their future.
This is the perfect time for anyone that's looking for a home, especially the first timers, to come and buy. And all of the banks now are lending. There's promotions that's going on. So if you know of anyone that's looking for a property, I encourage them to go out and buy now.
Michael Moscow, Vice President of Moscow Realty Grand Bahama, says industry stakeholders are hopeful for a turnaround in the island's slow real estate sector. He says the economy is still suffering, but does not foresee real growth until banks decide to lend.
The last few years has been up and down, more down than up. There have been a few good sales, but we still need a little bit more help, and there's still, see what happens with the tax law that's coming in and whatever. You don't know what's going to happen then.
For those inclined to purchase a home or property, the agents say prospective clients should first visit a bank to receive pre-clearance to determine what they can realistically afford. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this.